Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's 9 p.m. You're watching on Live RTD channel. Welcome to this English news edition. Here are the major stories. The announcement of a provisional result of the election. And on the international scenes about U.S. and Africa, the African Union and the U.S. Linked by a health agreement. Those were the top stories. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. It was yesterday, Friday evening, an occasion was organized to announce the provisional result of the municipal and regional elections that took place in the country on the 11th of this month. Throughout the country, this election comes after 2 weeks after 2 weeks of the election campaign, where the various list of the candidates for the municipal and regional election raise the awareness of voters to attract their votes each in its own way. Then lists competed, including 8 for the presidential majority and all state department, and the 2 independent lists to the Ali Sabih region. It should be noted that the exceptional of this election is that the number of candidates for the election in all constituencies except for the Razdika constituency, which maintain the same number. Yesterday evening, the journalists present the latest development of the regional and all the interior region election to ensure the good and varied media coverage for the many guests were also present who came from different institutions, including the Ministry of Interior that organized the polls and the Ministry of Decentralization in charge of a process and procedures of the member of the Independent Regional National Committee. The Djiboutians continue to announce the results of the polling station in the capital and the region late last night before the official announcement of the result of the municipal and regional election that are taking place for the 4th time in our country. In the same context, the Minister of Interior, Mr. Saeed Noor Hassan, announced live on national channel the preliminary result of the municipal and regional election that the country witnessed yesterday. Let's listen to the Minister of Interior.
Régional et communal du vendredi 11 mars 2022. Proclamation des résultats provisoires.
My dear citizens, I would like to start by extending my warmest congratulations to the voters who have fulfilled their civic rights. My congratulations also goes to all the lists from political parties and independent lists that participated in this election. The rallies held in the interior regions as well as in the capital have aroused a real enthusiasm and keen interest within a population that has demonstrated once again its confidence and its faith in the democratic process and force of our country. Moreover, the elections were held throughout the country in a calm and sincere manner, and in compliance with the legislative and regulatory provisions. The transparency of the ballot, as well as the free expression of the voters' right to vote, were reinforced by the presence in the field and in the polling stations of the delegates of the parties, groups, and of the independent lists in the race, as well as of the members of the Independent Regional Electoral Commission. Thus, under the election of this Friday, March 11th, we recorded the participation of 3 lists composed of a grouping of political parties, namely grouping called Union for the Presidential Majority, UMP, and 2 independent lists in Ali Sabih, namely the Movement of Development and Justice and the Watani as a Joke movement. Also, in my capacity as Minister of the Interior, I have the honor to solemnly proclaim the provisional results of the regional and communal elections of this Friday, the 11th of March. The results are, of course, provisional and are broken down as follows. Electoral District of Razdika, total registered voters 3,632 number of seats to be filled, 9 seats. Total voters 2,691. Invalid ballots were 45 votes. Votes cast were 2,646 votes cast for the UMP list. The list UMP wins 9 of the 9 seats. Electoral District of Bil'as, total registered voters 69,371, number of seats to be filled 69 seats, total voters 50,527, invalid ballots 1,408, expressed 49,119 votes in favor of the list. The UMP 49,119 and the UMP list wins all 69 seats. Electoral District of Balbala, total registered voters 61,893, number of seats to be filled 62 seats, total voters 40,373, spoiled ballots 949 voters cast, 39,424 voters for the UMP list, 39,424. The UMP list wins all 62 seats. Electoral District of the Ali Sibih region, total number of registered voters 17,192, number of seats to be filled 17 seats, total voters 9,845, invalid ballots 175 votes cast, 96,110 votes cast for the list. The UMP 8,263, that is 85,144 votes cast in favor of the MDG list, 747 or a percentage of 71.72 votes cast in favor of the voice list, 660 or a percentage of 61.83. The UMP list won 16,000. The MDG list wins 1 seat. The Watani list wins 0 seats. Electoral districts of the Tajara region, total registered voters 80,453. Number of seats to be filled 18 seats. Total voters 17,137. Spoiled ballots 224 voters. Cast 16,980 votes cast for the UMP list, 16,113. The UMP list wants 18 seats. Electoral districts of the Arta region, total registered voters 10,861 numbers of seats to be filled with 11 seats. Total voters 81,314. Invalid ballots 261. Votes cast 8,853. Votes cast for the UMP list 8/53. The UMP list wants all 11 seats. Electoral districts of the region of Obokh, total registered 222,823 number of seats to be filled with 23 seats. Total voters 21,204. Invalid ballots 384. Votes cast 2,870 votes cast for the UMP list, around 1,870. The UMP list won all 23 seats. Electoral districts of the region of Dakhil, total registered voters 11,462. Number of seats to be filled 11 seats. Total voters 10,495. Invalid ballots 153. Votes cast 134. 10,324 votes in favor of the UMP list of 343. The UMP list wins all 11 seats. These are the provisional results of the 4th regional and communal elections of this Friday, March 11, 2022.
The Radio and Television Authority present live on the air last Friday, the 11th of March, throughout television broadcasters in various local language, the preliminary result of the municipal and regional election that took place yesterday, Friday, during the live broadcasts from the country in Djibouti. The radio and television organized a special election evening to announce the result of the election, which were broadcast live from the arena of Djibouti state. The team and the crew of the Radio and Television Corporation for one day participate in the evening to transmit audio and video together on the air to the view audience from the capital and the interior region, and cover the voting process. It should be noted that this is the fourth time that these municipal and regional elections have been held in our country. The work of the 77th session of executive were held yesterday morning. The work of the 77th session of the Executive Committee of the African Parliamentary Union, which started Thursday in the Rwanda capital Kigali, continues. More than 120 delegates representing 41 African parliamentarians attended this meeting. According to the African Parliamentary Union, this session will be an opportunity to exchange views and ideas in the fight of confronting the COVID-19 pandemic, advancing the reality of the national economy, promoting innovations and economic plan for the post-COVID-19, as well as implementing the African Continental Free Trade Area and Agreement. The agenda of these sessions include, in particular, the delegate studies of the implementation of the decision and recommendation of the Conference of Presidents and provisional accounts for the 2022 and financial year. It was this morning the meeting hall at the People's Palace hosted a conference on the status of Djiboutian women. Representatives from various ministerial departments and several executives participate in the work of this conference, which was organized by the Ministry of Women and Family. During this meeting, many topics were discussed, including the social and economic integration of women in Djibouti, the challenges of climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as Djiboutian women in the digital file, headed by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Women and Family, Ms. Anissa Hassan Bardon. The television camera monitor pointed out of one of the participants in this conference who praised the prominent roles of a Djiboutian woman. Let's listen to her.
Our opportunity to be invited here today to the Women's Conference. We liked the speeches that talked about, progressing women in economics, starting their own business, and the challenges that they had during the COVID pandemic. Looking forward to working with the Ministry of Women and Family in the future, and hopefully that we can make some advancements here in Djibouti for women and their families. Thank you.
The national football team in preparing to participate in the preliminary round of the 2023 African Nation Cup at the National Gendarmerie Camp located in Point. According to the draw, the national team will face South Sudan in Egypt on March 23 for the first leg, and the return match will be in Kampala on March 27th in the fourth confrontation in which the national team will face the South Sudan's team to qualify for the African Nation Cup, where the South Sudan team defeated its Djibouti counterparts in 2 matches, and the national team of which is new coach Abdurrahman Hussein and its deputy Mohammed has strengthened its capabilities in order to overcome challenges during the match that will bring together with the views from South Sudan.
My name is Akibino Samuel Temidayo, Atasola 7. Merci.
And now moving on to the international scenes, the U.S. and Africa renewed its support for the effort of the African Union to promote peace and good governance in Africa. This came during a meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Washington with the chairpersons of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki to inaugurate the high-level dialogue between the United States and the African Union in Washington. The two sides discussed, according to the U.S. State Department in a statement published on its website today, on Saturday, the value of a strong partnership in addressing common challenges such as combating the coronavirus, enhancing health security, and addressing the climate crisis, as well as emphasizing the need for a just transitions of energy and the need to advance inclusive global economic growth. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.